When I became mayor of Little Rock back in 2007, one of the objectives that the city of Little Rock had was to try and implement the 10-year plan that was developed nationally to deal with the homeless issues and situations throughout the country. And there were various stages and steps that had to be developed. One of them was to develop a day resource center, a place where the homeless could congregate, could be taken care of in a variety of ways. There was no place for them to go during the day. The ability to try and get them to a day resource center where we could provide resources to them obviously was a very good and definitely needed objective.
The biggest challenge, I think, was finding the location. Mayor Stodler was able to do that, worked quietly to get it done. We had to make sure it was properly zoned. And when we identified a location, the building needed a lot of repair. We invested well over $1 million into that facility to make it usable. And really, we only were able to kind of use one floor. Since that time, the other floors, some of the other floors and some of the other spaces have been renovated. But the biggest challenge, I think, was winning over the homeless advocacy community, the other nonprofits, the volunteers, to let them know or to encourage them to trust us as we waded off into this social service that we had never been in before. And then secondly was to find and fund a facility that would meet the needs of the community. And when we located there on Springer Boulevard, there were a lot of people that scratched their head and said, was this the right location? Because it was kind of on the edge of town. Looking back over the last 10 years, it was the right location, and it served a lot of people. And I'm proud to say that I had a part of that, a decade ago.
It was time to come up with a name, and I thought about, obviously, some of the various parables in the Bible, the one about the Good Samaritan on Jericho Way, and it came to me that ought to be the name, Jericho Way. People who've lost their way, that are looking for a place where they can find their way and find some help.
I'm the president of DePaul USA, and we're a national Vincentian-inspired homeless services organization, and we had established a day center in Macon, Georgia. So when the city of Little Rock and the city of North Little Rock established Jericho Way, someone mentioned to the Mayor Mark Stodler at the time, that DePaul USA was running a very good day center in Macon, Georgia, and perhaps there were some learnings that could be taken from Macon and brought back to Little Rock. So Mayor Stodler came out to Macon, toured our day center, and when he got back to Little Rock, he decided that it would be wonderful if the city would tender the management of Jericho Way to a nonprofit organization. Jericho Way is a day center that was established by the cities of North Little Rock and Little Rock to serve homeless and housing insecure men and women. It was a place of respite, a place they could come in out of the elements, take a shower, get some food, and then hopefully engage with case management so they could make positive steps towards a more independent and dignified future.
It's a place where they've got a post office there where they can receive their mail, they can get clothing. There are social workers there that help with a variety of their emotional and psychological and physical and medical issues.
To have a warm place to rest after, walking all day, because one thing about homeless people always tell them to move, so they have to move a lot. And so there's a place where they can get some rest, as well as get some of their social needs met.
It really is kind of a one-stop shop for those less fortunate in our community that are looking for services, looking for help, and looking to maybe better themselves in life.
To the general public, we are a day resource center serving the unsheltered. But to our participants, I hope that we are a refuge, a place where they can come after experiencing the difficulties and a lot of the harshness of living unsheltered in our society. Among those who are unsheltered, we typically serve the most challenging subset. Those who are chronically homeless, may suffer from serious mental illness, and some who have complicated criminal histories, which on all of those factors, or any one of them, makes it very difficult to move forward. We try to help people to mitigate some of those circumstances and to get the support services that they need. We can help people to address some of the things that possibly led to homelessness to begin with. Then we'll have greater success in helping them to stay housed.
Jericho Way is the only day center in Central Arkansas, and it's important because people often aren't ready to go immediately into housing. They need to build a relationship with a case manager. They need to come to a point where they realize that the way they're living on the streets is not sustainable. They need a place where they can go and get a nourishing meal. They need a place to go and wash. They need a place to go and get clean clothes. And Jericho Way is that place. It's a place where people can get the services they need to make that big step into housing. For a lot of people who've been living a long time on the streets, it's very daunting to move into housing. And Jericho Way is a nice touch point that builds their confidence and helps them see that there is a better future off the streets.
The homeless people who come to Jericho Way, when they get to the door of Jericho, they say, I'm gonna be all right for the day. I know I'm gonna eat. I know somebody's gonna talk to me and care about me and ask me about how I'm doing. One thing about humans is that humans need humans. Even God said it's not good for man to be alone. So people need to feel community. They need to feel worth something, and they need to know that somebody cares.
What I see on a day-to-day basis is just an incredible humanity and grace among those who have the least. Just 2 weeks ago, I had an elderly man who approached me. I'd never seen him before, and he asked me if I worked at the center. And he pointed to a young woman who was standing a few feet away. And he was on his way to Jericho Way for breakfast when he saw her standing on a corner and realized that she didn't appear, to be able to take care of herself. And so he brought her to us, and we were able to coax her inside. Well, once she came to herself, she was able to give us her name and contact information, and we got in touch with her family and discovered that they had been looking for her for 4 days. And so I think, how many people passed her over those 4 days and, didn't stop. And this man did. He didn't ignore her. He didn't take advantage of her. He brought her to a place where she would be safe and taken care of. And that's essentially the story of the Good Samaritan.
Little Rock can only be as strong as everyone in it. And we have segments of our population that need a hand up, that need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of a boost. And I think that's what Jericho Way offers. And so that's why it's important to me and to everyone else in Little Rock. Jericho Way needs to continue to expand its services, its staff, its outreach. We talked about other forms of housing or camps for the homeless, transportation, healthcare, all the things that will help that person that wants help kind of get back on their feet.
I had a vision, which I still do, of taking the small little subdivision where Jericho Way is, that has many boarded up houses that are dilapidated, and trying to acquire those properties and actually turn that into a village of housing for the homeless. It's going to take some dedicated staff to work through the legal issues and acquire the title to the properties, and then ultimately it's going to take money to be able to renovate and rebuild these properties.
DePaul USA has been in Little Rock for 8 years, and in that time we've managed Jericho Way. We have a new director, Carol, and she is working really hard to increase our housing numbers, our employment numbers, and just make sure that people are moving forward on a path towards independence. So we want to focus on those efforts, continue that work. We'd also like to continue our housing work. We have built 5 duplexes in underinvested neighborhoods that are, I think, great assets to those neighborhoods and have taken negative space and made it very positive space. So we want to continue the day center and make it a best-in-class operation, but we'd also like to continue to develop housing, because the ultimate antidote to homelessness is housing. And it's housing that is supportive and encouraging and gives people a chance to sustain the housing and make further progress.
The best reason to support us is because of the outcomes that we can show. The number of people that we have been able to help to get into treatment, to find employment, to get insurance and those benefits that they need, the people who are now housed, who are becoming productive members of our community again. Many of our clients work every day, but they just don't make a livable wage. So that in supporting the work that we do, you're helping us to facilitate stability. We're helping our participants to get housing, to possibly get training for better employment.
People want to live in a place that they love, that they care about, that they enjoy. And we've got to try and do that for everyone. And if we can help the homeless, then we're going to be helping those citizens that are not homeless. And I think that's a very important objective for local government.
If you're interested in Jericho Way, if you're interested in the work DePaul does, come visit and see it in action. You can see the work that the staff does. You can see what the participants do who come there. And we need your support. Jericho Way does a very good job of getting basic supplies. So we need soap, we need shampoo for the showers, we need towels, we need detergent for the laundry machines, all those things. And frankly, we also need financial support so that we can pay for our staff. We have doubled the budget of Jericho Way since DePaul came in. So the city is being very generous in funding us, but we have to raise, again, that amount from private sources every year, foundations and individuals, to do the work of Jericho Way. And then we dream also of building more housing, and that costs a lot of money. So financial support, your volunteer hours, your gifts of supplies, snacks, as well as hygiene materials, all that is welcome and very much needed.
We cannot do it alone. It needs to be a community effort, and we need people to make donations. We need people to give donations of cash, in-kind services, technical expertise. We need volunteers. We need people to get the word out that this service exists. But if we don't all come together, we will never solve the homeless problem in Little Rock, Arkansas.
There are lots of successes at Jericho Way, but we have to be honest that there are lots of challenges too. So not everybody who comes through the door is going to end up in their own house, living in suburbia behind a picket fence and watering their window boxes. But we do have one gentleman, Vincent, who came to us, worked for us for a while, and when DePaul began to rehab housing in Little Rock, that's another thing we do in addition to Jericho Way, he was the first person we housed. And he's been living in that house ever since. He has his own house, he pays his utilities, he has a job, he's no longer homeless, he's no longer dependent upon government aid, he's totally independent. He's a great tenant, he takes great care of the house, so he is a prime example of what we get to do on our best days.
What brought me to Jericho Way is I was homeless, and I was, I just got out of federal prison, and, life spiraled out of control, and just the normal, you hit rock bottom, and there you go. You didn't expect it, One day you smoked a joint, and the next 30, 40 years you sleeping on the ground. The day now is making my bed and washing my dishes and going to work, and on my way home, I know it's there. Home is there, and how did I get there? It's so far removed from where I was. Jericho Way gave that extra, that return to life, that return to being a human again, that return to seeing that people do truly love people. I'm a proud patriot of the United States of America, and Jericho Way is the way I got back to that. Woke me up saying, hey, this is what we do. Americans help Americans. Jericho Way, DePaul, USA, it's life-giving. I thank them. I can't. If I had 10,000 tongues, I couldn't thank them enough. It's everything, and I thank them.
I had never been to Little Rock until I came to look at Jericho Way, and this has become one of my favorite places because the people here have been extraordinarily generous and giving. I think it's almost unheard of to be able to build $500,000 worth of housing without getting a single dime from a government agency, all this money was raised from individuals, from churches, from foundations, and that is just an incredible act of generosity on the part of people here in Little Rock. So hats off to the people of Little Rock for doing this, for helping us at Jericho Way, for supporting us not only with the housing, but by volunteering at the day center, by providing services at the day center. We've had great partners in the city government as well. We're grateful for all of that, and I just love coming and seeing the progress we're making and seeing the progress that Little Rock is making. So thank you for letting me be a part of this.
If we're gonna make Little Rock the best community it can be, then the community has to support these services that that are maybe a little bit out of sight, out of mind. You know, most people are uncomfortable dealing with the working poor or the homeless, but we have volunteers at Jericho Way that are not, and they're stepping up to give those folks an opportunity, and we need the community to get behind that in any way they can to make sure that we continue to have the success that we've had over the last decade. Is it enough? No, but can it be more? Absolutely. If we can continue to grow and we have the same level of success we've had the last 10 years. But a homeless person, regardless of their circumstances, they're a person too, and they deserve a chance like the rest of us.
Give, because it's me. I am Jericho Way. I am that person that was on the ground, in the field. Now I'm in the city of Little Rock, the capital of Arkansas, living the dream. I'm an American. I mean, wow. It just don't get better.